As if the U.S. presidential election between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton couldn't get any more heated, now WikiLeaks has released another 1,200 documents which were hacked supposedly from Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, John Podesta. This is the fourth data dump that WikiLeaks has offered to the public. Daily World will analyze them and share with you in a future broadcast and in a special, breaking down the most important leaks disclosed by WikiLeaks and how they have an impact on the presidential race and the overall credibility of the claims of the Clinton campaign. Russian President Vladimir Putin has told his politicians that they're going to have to immediately start recalling their children and relatives who live abroad who are enjoying the fruits of the West, and especially youngsters getting their education in more advanced Western institutions. The reason Clinton is doing this is because Russian voters are starting to show open signs of rebellion and cynicism concerning the non-stop barrage of anti-Western propaganda that the Kremlin has steadily dished out ever since Vladimir Putin and Russia illegally seized the Crimea from Ukraine in violation of international laws. Russian voters are aptly aware and cynically point out that if the West is so evil, then why do Russian elites send their children abroad to enjoy the fruits of the West? Russian billionaires, for example, are among the top groups in the United Kingdom who are investing the most money. Communist China is closing on their heels. Russian millionaires who can do pretty much whatever they want in Great Britain as long as they've got the cash to do so are, of course, enjoying the fruits of the West. Speaking of Russia, Turkey's elected dictator Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Vladimir Putin continue their newfound love fest and continue to get closer, if you believe the politics and the statements and the rhetoric coming out of both Turkey and Russia. Regardless of what happens in the relations between Russia and Turkey, the bottom line will not change. There is no way that Turkey is going to leave NATO, which is what Vladimir Putin would love. Turkey knows that if it were to leave NATO, regardless of what it thinks about NATO and how it misbehaves at times, that it would then be gobbled up by Russia. France's President Francois Hollande has admitted the obvious that France has a problem, quote-unquote, with Islam. No kidding. One of the reasons that the French have a problem with radical Islamic-driven, hate-driven terrorism is because for decades, especially during the 70s, 80s, and 90s, the French looked the other way and allowed radical organizations such as Yasser Arafat's Palestinian Liberation Organization to get away with committing acts of terror. This is why Israel's Mossad hunted down several terrorists on the streets of France and especially in its capital city of Paris and killed them because the French wouldn't do their jobs. The French actually at one point had a deserved worldwide bad reputation for freeing terrorists before they could be extradited to other countries to stand on trial for their crimes. French duplicity, where they would out of one side of their mouth condemn terrorism while condoning it, meaning they would do everything they could to release terrorists so that they were never held accountable. This would happen in reality for a number of years, caused in part the United Nations to finally come up with a universally agreed upon definition of terrorism in the aftermath of the terrorist attacks of 9/11 against the United States by Osama bin Laden's Al-Qaeda. For the record, the universal definition of terrorism that has now been accepted for a long time now, in the past 15 years after the attacks, is basically this: Terrorism is the deliberate systematic targeting of innocent civilians for the purposes of political or social change. This accepted definition of terrorism has made prosecution of terrorists a lot easier now and has imposed a more universal standard that is now adhered to by police and intelligence agencies worldwide. CNN, the cable news network, which is understandably also mocked as being the Clinton news network, has ordered a blackout by its reporters to cover the story of Bill Clinton's supposed illegitimate black child. While there is no definitive evidence that this story is true, the fact that CNN refuses to cover it rather than do the type of investigation needed to settle the issue once and for all, that would be called investigative journalism, hello, proves once again that CNN is in the tank for the Clinton campaign. That is no secret, especially since some of its reporters in the past have not only donated to the Clinton campaign, but have actually leaked questions ahead of time before debates to the Clinton campaign. We know this not because of CNN's transparency, but because of documents leaked by such organizations as WikiLeaks. Shame on CNN for not bothering to do its job to investigate this story and settle it one way or another. Shame on them for ordering a news blackout when the story is news and should be settled one way or another. As Halloween approaches the United States, it's a very popular event across America where people dress up as whatever they like and go trick-or-treating, as well as just hold very nice, interesting costume parties. Because of the clown attack epidemic, at least the perception of it that is sweeping America and has showed up in other countries such as Australia, people dressed up as clowns are going to have to be especially careful during this Halloween. People who dress up as clowns in real life are also not appreciating the public backlash against them because people are starting to panic. And in one case, a mob of civilians took a baseball bat and attacked a person who was dressed up as a clown, even though he wasn't doing anything wrong. Only in America could clown epidemics break loose like this. There is absolutely a hysteria involved, as well as a very real phenomenon that is disturbing at the core of these reports. BMW, which is one of the top automakers in the world, and it makes some of the most advanced cars designed. They rival those in some areas, known for top engineering, such as products made by Mercedes-Benz, has released what it calls an intelligent motorcycle. This futuristic-looking device is capable of self-balancing, and BMW says it can be even driven without a helmet. While that part is questionable, since Basic Safety 101 dictates that one should always wear a helmet, especially when riding any sort of two-wheeled vehicle, nonetheless, it will be interesting to see what BMW does with its new product and how consumers take to it. Not to be outdone, Google, which has been leading the charge on driverless cars, is now starting to release as well driverless vans.